Hi, and welcome to your morning espresso business coaching session with Richard Turner, the Essential Entrepreneur. We'll take you through a series of short lessons on how to scale your business while you enjoy your morning coffee. Now, this is a really important episode on trademarking, protecting your business, because deciding on the perfect brand, ensuring it's free to use, and then protecting it are the three most important steps you will take when starting a business. A good brand is the cut-through tool that's going to get the attention of your market and position your business within that market. Through your marketing and sales programs, you'll be constantly investing in your brand and building value, which when successful, others will try quickly to leverage from. So make sure you choose wisely, and then you've got to protect it. When you look for investors on your business journey, protection of your brand is one of the first things they will ask you about. So let's talk about the process of applying for trademark registration. In common law countries, including Australia, once you start trading and building your reputation in the market, you automatically receive brand protection. But most importantly, to recognise it's only in the local geographic region where you are trading. This could be defined as those areas that you are advertising and selling in, but does not include all of Australia. So if you're trading in Brisbane, for example, you don't get protection in the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast, or Sydney or Melbourne, unless you're already invoicing into those areas or trading in those areas. It's vital that you keep records of proof of use of the brand for reputational protection, which can include copies of advertisements, brochures, any media use and sales invoices that carry your brand name. It's also strongly recommended to immediately use the capital TM symbol for trademark on or in connection with the brand when you go to market to warn the market that it is intended to be your brand. To your benefit, you will also, from a trademark registration perspective, claim first user rights in the respective country. To enable extended protection across the whole of the country, you will need to file an application for trademark registration in your country. Doing this will also provide a priority date. This is really important. Get a priority date under your belt, not only in your country so that your mark has priority over subsequent use or applications for the same mark for the same or related goods and services after the filing date, but also in other countries where a trademark system exists as part of a shared international protocol. The protocol recognises that trademark applicants in those countries signatory to the protocol also have 6 months within which to file into your country and claim their earlier filing date as the effective filing date in your country. So the protocol deems that they can claim priority for their mark over yours. Therefore, it is important to note that this system means it can be at least 7 months before you can be sure that your mark is clear for registration in your country. As I talked about in the branding episode, I always recommend engaging a professional graphic designer from early on to produce an engaging professional style guide to represent your brand that works well and consistently across all media and platforms. It's the very best way to get your business off to a flying start and gives you a strong document to start discussions with a trademark attorney about your proposed trademark and strategy. The individual elements in your design can be trademarked or protected separately or combined as the design or mark that identifies your business. When you do engage a professional designer or web developer, it's very important to ensure you own the copyright of that logo. Often developers or designers will own the copyright by default, or it's in the contract, so read every contract carefully and understand what it means. And you end up not being the owner of the copyright of your own brand. That's a problem. And also can be costly as you move forward and grow the business. You will want to broaden the use of the brand and all its elements, so make sure you negotiate to have full ownership of the brand, logo, tagline, and designs early on, as you want to have copyright for all future uses. If you're relying on first use rights as protection, it is also important to understand that your brand and logo can't evolve or change over your startup journey. A changed logo can be considered a significantly different logo for this purpose, and you may lose protection of the earlier brand, even though the two versions may seem similar to you. So let's talk about why it's a good idea to consult a trademark attorney. So regarding strategy and dealing with the mechanics of trademark filing, I always recommend talking to a trademark attorney early, as it's a complicated area in regard to ownership of the brand, protection rights, and what you actively need to pursue protection for, and in what countries, as this should be dictated by your plans to expand. An attorney who specialises in trademarks will help you handle this important asset of your business and advise on many issues, including what can and can't be protected, as well as managing the process, since you'll be quickly juggling the many other things that you need to take care of in a rapidly growing early stage business. I have personally found it is worth the investment to have a professional dealing with the mechanics and to ensure the process is done correctly the first time. There are 45 different classes of which most relate to goods and some to services, and your product or service may cross over more than one of these categories, so a listing in more than one may be required. Trademark attorneys have the skill to decide which classes apply and what words to use to provide the coverage you require now and into the future. They will have a long-term view in mind and will generally encourage you to file with a broad selection of goods and services that represent not only the goods and services you're offering now, but also those you have the intention to offer in the future. A trademark attorney will often provide early guidance for no fee, but must, before they are engaged, provide a quotation for the work they will do for you. Some are great and provide guidance up front to get you on the right track, and once you create a trusted relationship with them, they can join you on the journey of creating a brand strategy that will support your business for the present and, most importantly, into the future. A ballpark cost to engage a professional trademark attorney and apply for one brand in one class is generally under $1,000 Australian. This cost includes many considerations that an attorney is trained to consider, including discussing ownership of the brand, the suitability of the proposed trademark for acceptance, determining the appropriate goods and services for which the brand will be used presently and over the next 3 years. The attorney will remind you about the need to use your mark on all the goods and services for which the mark is registered, since you cannot reserve the mark forever. However, a single use is sufficient to preserve the registration, since you don't want the mark to be challenged after the initial 3 years for non-use. Your trademark attorney will also check all the details of the application, ensure the dates of each step and action involved in the process are consistent with the legal requirements, and most importantly, check the registration certificate to ensure accuracy before providing it to you. These checks and attention to detail are absolutely worth the costs if you are serious about protecting your trademark. In Australia, there is a fast way to check whether a trademark is likely or not to be accepted by the Trademarks Office. That system is referred to as the Head Start process. It's an adjunct to the standard trademark application system. Head Start applications are not advertised, so no one knows you've tried to register a particular mark, and it's not exposed publicly at that point. The Trademarks Office will pick up the application under this process within days of application and will perform a preliminary examination. It will then provide a report to the applicant or their attorney. The preliminary report will only outline whether the trademark is clear or will identify broadly stated issues that may block acceptance of the trademark. An attorney can help to provide an assessment of the seriousness of the issues raised. Some issues may be resolved by argument or the use of evidence of prior use. Some issues may be too hard to overcome, and if so, the Head Start process allows the applicant the option to halt the trademark application process. Consulting a trademark attorney, even if you've made your own application, is again a smart move, as it allows you to discuss more broadly the ownership, breadth of the mark, and the likelihood of obtaining acceptance. A good attorney will have the experience to know which objections can be successfully challenged and which won't. The cost of using a trademark attorney to apply for a trademark using the Head Start process in Australia is roughly $900 Australian. Stage 1 is about $600 and Stage 2 is about $300. And you may get back the $300 if you choose not to proceed with Stage 2. There'll be the attorney's costs for providing advice between the issue of the preliminary report and the payment or not of the second part depends on the number of issues related and remedies available to challenge any potential obstacles. There will be further costs in getting the trademark accepted and finally registered, but your attorney will always provide those costs up front and have your best interests in mind. In summary, A good trademark attorney will provide a strong initial and ongoing filing strategy and help you navigate a logical and experienced pathway through the trademark use and registration process. Often ignored is the cost of getting things wrong, not only the monetary cost, but also the immeasurable cost of your time devoted to avoiding or dealing with roadblocks later in the life of your brand. Good advice and guidance at the right time can ensure your brand will come to represent the goodwill of your business, so choose and treat your brand accordingly. Thanks for listening today. This is such an important lesson because if the opportunity for your product is enormous in a particular country or a region, the cost to protect it is really just minimal, so make sure you get it done. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.